Welcome back to Face the Nation. Mr. Ambassador, you recently met with Asian Productivity Organization or APO, Secretary General Dr. Indra Pradana Singawinata, and informed the leadership about Botswana's National Mindset Change campaign led by President, I hope I pronounced this right, Mongwitsi Eric Kiabetswe Masisi.
President Masisi, yes.
Yes. May we know about the campaign to build upon Botswana's efforts in digitalization and government alignment to unlock everyone's full potential?
Ah. Yes, thank you very much. Since after the experience of the COVID pandemic, COVID was very devastating to most countries, including Botswana. And after COVID, led by the President Masisi, we embarked on a campaign which is called the Reset Agenda. We wanted to reset Botswana after the experience of COVID, in that we said we can no longer do things like we used to do before COVID and even during COVID. So we had to change mindsets to do things differently, to understand that we live in a world of threats like COVID. We had to build resilience into our economy and have our people ready to deal with future such threatening campaigns. We also realized that in order to accelerate our economy, we had to teach our people to think differently and align all of us into one vision so that we can get somewhere together and learn how to use our resources optimally. For example, we export diamonds and other raw commodities like copper in their raw state. And then we said, no, we need to get more value out of those. And that requires a different mindset. It requires also that we develop our value chains such that, for example, we know that if we export one diamond and in its raw form, it will give us maybe $1,000. But if we were to process it and make it jewelry, we could earn 10 times from the same stone. So this whole reset agenda was about changing the mind, and we also realized that to move forward in a globalized world, we have to digitize our country. Digitization brings so many effort, so many advantages. It includes communication, it gives people information, it allows us to deal with other people and to have technical solutions to problems that we might have, like in the health or agricultural sector. So that was what the mindset change was about. That was what the digitalization program was about, and that was what alignment was about. Yes.
May I follow up on something, since you've mentioned that the world has changed a lot during the pandemic? So how does dealing with the international partners and countries differ now since the crisis?
Yeah, since the crisis, we have learned that, first of all, that technology is important. It means that we can deal with other people, although we are far away from them, but we can still deal with them using the available means of technology. So we are trying in Botswana to make sure that technology reaches everybody. But we also strategically engage in those partners who we feel will enable us in this world of today to move forward. So we know where we can get advantages from, but also it's important that we also keep close with everybody post the pandemic, although sometimes the pandemic demands that we are distant from each other.
Do you think we need to rethink our approaches to, say, tourism and diplomacy in a changed world?
Tourism must continue, but tourism actually is one of those resilient economic forms because, especially in Botswana, where we have a lot of land, a big space, we welcome tourism, but we limit the number of people who can come at a certain time because overcrowding also becomes a bit problematic. So whilst we encourage tourism, but we still have to look after the environment and the ecosystem.
Well, thank you for
Thank
that,
you,
Mr.
Ambassador.
Ambassador. Yes, these are some of the strategies that everyone is tackling post-pandemic because
Yes.
really the world has changed and this reset mindset really is very, very important, especially when it comes to geopolitical relationships between countries and peoples of the world. Do you have, this is our last question, and we'd like you to address our Filipino viewers. Since this is your first tour in the country, do you have any messages for the Filipinos out there and for those of us who would someday hopefully come to your country, to your beautiful country of Botswana?
Yes, I will, excuse me, I will encourage the Filipinos to, Filipinos, at least you travel the whole world, but you don't travel to Africa and to Botswana as much as we would like you to. I would encourage you to come to Botswana, to come and see a different kind of beauty. Your country is very beautiful. Ours is also beautiful, but in a different sense. You must also learn what you can do for us and learn what we can do for you. It's not just a one-sided thing. There's some things that I can show you in my country, and then there are also some things that I can see in Philippines. So I encourage the Filipino people not to be adverse of coming to Africa. Today's Africa is more peaceful, it's very welcoming. There are lots of opportunities for everybody. And I think in today's world, we are all global people and we must interact as much as possible. Yes.
Well put. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. And there you have it, our sincerest gratitude and thanks to our friend and special guest, Botswana Ambassador and Major General Motsiline Moraki.
Thank
In
you
behalf
very much.
of my co-host, Butch Serrano, I'm Daniza Lopez. Until we meet again here on Face the Nation.